Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be making this diamond mesh hat. This has been a very long awaited tutorial and I am so happy that I can share it with you all now. For those of you who like written patterns, I will leave the link in the description, and if you purchase my pattern, I love you lots in advance. Also, this video, if you enjoy it, make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out on any other tutorials that I drop. And I've already made quite a few cool tutorials on this channel, so feel free to check out my tutorial playlist in the description after this video. For this project, you're going to need a skein of a weight 3 yarn, a 4mm crochet hook, a darning needle, pair of scissors, stitch marker, possibly some cool charms to decorate your cap, and a rocking playlist. This tutorial won't have any background music, so you can play your favorite songs as you work on this project. I don't know about you, but I love to crochet with a good song or a movie in the background. Shout out to Squid Game Season 2, but don't worry, you will hear my lovely voice, just no background music. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Now let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. To start this project, you're going to go ahead and you are going to make a magic circle and chain 3. After your chain 3, you're going to put 9 double crochets into your round. After you've made your 9 double crochets, you can go back and check, make sure that you have exactly 9 double crochets plus your chain 3, which will count as your last double crochet. So in this first round, we have technically 10 double crochets. So once you have all of your stitches, you're going to go ahead and pull this tail to close your circle, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. Going into round 2, you're going to start off with a chain of 4, and then you're going to put 1 double crochet into the same stitch that we slip stitched into. And that is our first increase of this round. So from here, you're going to chain 1, move over to the next stitch, and do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around this round. So one more time, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. Okay, so for round 1 we had 10 double crochets, so by the time you get to the end of round 2 you should have 20. So I'll meet you guys at the end of this round. When you've made it to the end of this round, make sure after you do your last double crochet, you do a chain 1, and then you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of your chain 4. Moving into our next round is where we're going to start working up our mesh pattern. So from there you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to put 1 single crochet into the chain 1 space. Then you are going to chain 5, and then you will put 1 single crochet into the next chain space. And that is your pattern. So one more time, we'll do this next one together. So chain 5, and then in the next chain space, you're going to do 1 single crochet. Continue this and I'll meet you guys at the end of this round. When you've made it to the end of this round, you should have a chain of 5, and then what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet we did of this round. When you've made it to the end of this round, you should have 5 chains, and then you're going to have to slip stitch into the top of your very first single crochet of this round. And then to set yourself up to go into the next round, you're going to do a slip stitch into the next 2 chains here. Once you've done your 2 slip stitches, you're going to chain 1 and then put 1 single crochet into this very first chain 5 space. Once you've made it to this point, I think it would be helpful for you to put a stitch marker on this very first single crochet to help you keep track of your rounds. So go ahead and grab whatever you prefer to use as a stitch marker and just put it on that first single crochet. Once you have your first stitch of the round marked, you're going to chain 5. And in the next chain 5 space, you're going to put 1 single crochet. And that is going to be the repeat for this round. So one more time, chain 5, and then in the next chain 5 space, put 1 single crochet. Continue on with this pattern and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Alright, so I've made it to the end of this round. I have my chain 5 and now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the very first single crochet of this round. And then same as what we did for the start of this round, we're going to do the same thing going into the next round. And the pattern is going to repeat for the next 10 rows. You're going to want to have 14 rows in total. So we're going into row 5. I'll get you guys started and then I'll let you guys just continue on for your remaining rows because it's all going to be the same thing. So to set myself up to go into the next round, I'm going to slip stitch into the next 2 chains that I have here. After those 2 slip stitches, I'm going to chain 1. And then in this same chain space that I'm currently, working in, I'm going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet. And that is going to be the first single crochet of round 5. And I will take my stitch marker and put it on that first stitch to help me keep track. So then after that, once again, you're going to chain 5 and put 1 single crochet into the next chain space. Repeat this all the way around your row. You want to have 14 rows in total. So I'll meet you guys at the end of row 14. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 14, so I'm finishing off this round. I have my chain of 5 and I'm going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet of this round. And then moving into our next round, we're going to once again slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. And now this time you're going to chain 3, and this is going to count as our first double crochet of this round. And then in the same chain space, you're going to do 3 double crochets. After you've made your 3 double crochets, you're going to go ahead and chain 2, and you're going to put 4 double crochets into the next chain space. After your 4 double crochets, you're going to repeat the pattern by chaining 2 and then putting 4 double crochets into the next chain space. And you're going to repeat that all the way around your cap. I will meet you at the end of this round. Alright, I just finished this next round and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the top of this chain 3 here. And now we are going to start working on the ear flaps. So from here, you're not going to cut your yarn, you're just going to go ahead and chain 3. This is going to count as your first double crochet. and then you're going to put 1 double crochet into each of your next 3 stitches. Then you're going to skip the chain 2 space, and you are going to put 1 double crochet into each of these double crochet stitches here. So you have 4 here. So 1 double crochet in these next 4 stitches. And you're just going to repeat this over 2 more times, so skipping these chain 2 spaces. Just in over top of these 4 double crochets, you'll do 1 double crochet in each of these 4 stitches, and then same thing here, 4 more double crochets. So basically just think of it as 8 double crochets, but you're skipping the chain 2 spaces. So go ahead and do those. I'll meet you at the end of this first row for our ear flap. Okay, and this is what your work should look like. You should have 16 double crochets in this first row for the ear flap. That is including the chain 3 that we did to start off this row. So going into our next row, as well as all of our remaining rows for the ear flap, you're going to start off with a chain of 3, and then we're going to be doing decreases. So skip the very first stitch because that, pairs with this chain 3 here. And we're going to do a decrease in these next 2 stitches. So yarn over, go into the second stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, or excuse me, I should say pull through the first 2 loops. Then you're going to yarn over again, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2 of those loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is how we are going to do our decrease. As you can see, it just takes 2 double crochets and turns them into 1. So you're going to go ahead and do 1 double crochet in each of your stitches until you get to your last 3 stitches, which is the chain 3 and then 2 actual stitches. So third to last stitch, I'll meet you guys and show you how to do our second decrease for this row. Okay, I have 3 stitches left in this row, 2 of my actual double crochet stitches, and then 1 is my chain 3. So in these next 2 stitches, I'm going to do my next decrease. So yarn over, go into that first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You have 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. So that's our second decrease, and then you can go ahead and put 1 double crochet into the last stitch, which is essentially the third chain of your chain 3. And that is the end of row 2 for the ear flap. You can go back if you need help keeping track of how many stitches you have in your row. You should have 14. So previous row or first row we had 16, and then the second row we did 2 decreases, so now we have 14 stitches. And you are just going to repeat that until you make it all the way down like to a little triangular point. You should have 1 stitch left. So going into the next row, you're chaining 3, turning your work, skipping the very first stitch because that belongs to this chain 3, and then in the next stitch we do a decrease. So you yarn over, go into the second stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over again, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. So that was your decrease. Then go ahead and work your way across the row until you have 3 stitches left. Do a decrease in your 2 second to last stitches, and then go ahead and do 1 normal double crochet in the chain 3 stitch, and that just helps keep your last stitch of the row straight. You don't want it to get too bunched up and just buckled. It helps to keep a cleaner look. but you're just going to keep repeating that all the way down until you come to a point. So I'll meet you guys a few rows from now. Okay, so I did all of my rows all the way down, doing 2 decreases in each row until it brought me to a point. And then all I have to do now is make the strap. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and chain 50. You can make these as long or as short as you want. Personally, I just like to do 50. So I'll chain my 50 and then meet with you guys at the end of this chain. So I just finished making my chain. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off a long tail, and I'm making sure that my tail is on the longer side just because I want to have some extra yarn that I can play around with if I decide that I want to add some beading to the bottom of my little straps here. So that's a little bit of, like, I don't know, I guess like a life hack for you. And then once that's done, you're going to go ahead and turn your work. So wherever, it doesn't matter which end you're starting, or I should say you're, counting from on either side of your flap, but go ahead and just pick a side, and then you're going to count over 5 of these 4 double crochet clusters that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then in the 6th little cluster here, I'm going to reattach my yarn into this first double crochet stitch, and I'm going to chain 3. And now we have a base for us to repeat all the steps that we just did for our first ear flap on this side. So my first of 16 double crochets is done. So essentially I'll be putting 1 double crochet over top of each of the double crochet stitches of the previous row for these next 4 shell little clusters here, skipping the chain 2 spaces, and just, rewind the video a little bit if you need to and repeat everything that we did for the previous ear flap. So meet you guys once that's done. Okay, now my hat is complete. Both of my ear flaps are done and the straps, and I left a long tail on both of my straps, so that way I'll be able to add some little charms and things in a moment. But first, before you get into that, you're going to want to go ahead and real quick weave in the tail ends that you have at like the base of your flap and then at the top of your hat, and anywhere else that you might happen to have it if you had to, reattach your yarn any place. And then once that's done, then you can go ahead and add in your charms. I personally like to add my charms onto like the little chain 2 spaces in between this bottom row on the cap, but you can also add them onto the actual like hat itself, or even put some on the ear flaps. I also do like to put some at the ends of my string ties. So lots of different places and ways that you can play around with this, but this is the base you need to play around and have some fun with the decorating side of things. So I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll try to answer them for you guys. Also, there will be a written pattern for this hat, so if you are interested in getting that, you can go ahead and click on the link in my description. That will take you to my Etsy. But that's all for you guys. I hope you have a great day. Stay crocheting, and I will see you guys soon with another tutorial. Bye guys.